Have you ever paused and asked yourself, who's really in control of your life? Is it you or your emotions, your choices or your circumstances? Are you reacting to the world or consciously shaping your place in it? If those questions strike a nerve, you're not alone. Most people live on autopilot, chasing comfort, avoiding pain, and hoping somehow life will work itself out. But what if I told you there's a different way, a path built not on fantasy, but on ancient, timeless wisdom? A path where each moment is a test of character, and every action a chance to grow stronger. This is the Stoic path. Before we dive in, hit subscribe if you're on a mission to master your mind, elevate your discipline, and live with power. Because here we don't chase trends, we build unshakable foundations. 1. No one can save you but you. Let's start with the most uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to rescue you. Not your friends, not your parents, not society. Real change starts when you stop waiting and start owning everything in your life. We grow up with stories of heroes, saviors, and external forces that swoop in at the last moment to save the day. But real life isn't a fairy tale, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you take the first real step toward transformation. The hard, undeniable truth is this: your life is your responsibility. Not partially, not when it's convenient. Entirely. It doesn't mean others can't help or support you. It means the foundation of your life is built on your own choices. If you're waiting for a break, a sign, a person to pull you out of your situation, you're giving away your power. Waiting is a passive act. Ownership is active. Stoicism doesn't hand you comforting lies, it hands you a mirror. And what you do with that reflection determines everything. When you look in that mirror, you don't get to blame your past, your parents, or your pain. Stoicism asks you to face yourself, not to judge, but to understand. It invites you to examine your habits, your thoughts, your reactions, and your beliefs without distraction or excuse. And that's what makes it so powerful. It brings the focus inward. Because when you finally stop pointing fingers and start asking deeper questions, you open the door to real growth. The mirror doesn't lie. It simply reflects who you are in this moment. The question is, will you turn away from it? Or will you meet your reflection with courage? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor with the weight of the world on his shoulders, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He knew what most of us forget, that the real battlefield is internal. Most people think power lies in controlling others, changing circumstances, or gaining recognition. But Marcus saw that none of that matters if you can't govern your own mind. Storms will come. People will disappoint you. Life will hit hard. But your response is always within your control. And that's where true power lies. Not in the chaos of the world, but in the calm you create within. To control your mind is to take back your freedom, to no longer be a prisoner of moods, reactions, or other people's opinions. Self-help isn't about reading books and quoting philosophers. It's about standing up every single day and refusing to make excuses. It's about asking, what can I do right now to become the kind of person I respect? Too many people use self-help as a way to feel better for a moment, but not as a means to change. Real growth doesn't feel good at first. It's uncomfortable, raw and confrontational. It's choosing to wake up early when you want to sleep in. It's walking away from toxic habits when they offer temporary comfort. It's showing up again and again even when progress feels invisible. That's the real work, not the highlight reels, not the social media affirmations, but the quiet daily grind that shapes your identity. This isn't motivational fluff. It's responsibility in its purest form. You either build yourself or you let life shape you into someone unrecognizable. Every moment you spend avoiding the truth is a moment wasted. Life will keep happening, whether you rise to meet it or not. You don't get to choose your circumstances, but you absolutely choose your response. And that response, moment by moment, becomes your life. So stop looking for someone to fix you. The only person who can truly change your story is staring back at you in the mirror. Don't run from that truth. Own it. Because once you do, you'll discover the quiet, unshakable strength that comes from taking full responsibility for your life. 2. The smallest choices define the greatest lives. You want to know who you are? Look at the decisions you make when no one's watching. It's easy to wear a mask in front of others. It's easy to act disciplined when there's applause, when there's a camera, when someone might be impressed. But who are you when there's no recognition? No praise, no immediate reward? That's where your character is revealed. It's not about the external noise. It's about the quiet integrity of your private moments, your habits behind closed doors, your thoughts when you're alone, your choices in the absence of judgment. That's who you are. That's where your future is being shaped. Stoicism isn't a philosophy for the mountaintop. It's a toolkit for everyday living. And that's where real transformation happens, not in moments of glory, but in silent acts of discipline. It's in choosing not to check your phone first thing in the morning, in keeping your word even when it's inconvenient, in resisting the urge to gossip, to complain, to take shortcuts. The Stoics didn't wait for heroic opportunities to prove themselves. They trained their minds daily to remain calm in chaos, to act with reason in adversity, to choose virtue over ego. And that's the real lesson here. Greatness isn't found in extremes. It's found in the ordinary, made sacred through discipline. When someone insults you, do you retaliate? Or do you pause, breathe, and rise above? When you're frustrated, do you lash out or choose patience? The way you handle small irritations is a reflection of how you'll face bigger storms. You don't develop resilience by reading about it. You build it through small acts of restraint and courage every day. Stoicism is about mastering the space between stimulus and response. That pause, that breath, that's where your power lives. Not in control over others, but in mastery of self. Every small decision is a brick, and over time, those bricks become the structure of your character. Skip a workout here, lie a little there, compromise on your values. Eventually, you wake up in a house built on a foundation of weakness. But if you choose truth when it's hard, discipline when it's dull, and virtue when it's costly, you'll look around one day and see that you've built something unshakable. That's not to say you won't stumble, you will. But each time, you choose to get back up, to stay aligned with your values, you lay another solid brick in your foundation. People think greatness is about the big moves, the career leap, the breakthrough moment, the bold risk, but it's not. It's about showing up when it's boring, choosing integrity when it's hard, saying no when it's easy to say yes. Greatness isn't found in the spotlight, it's forged in the shadows, in the discipline of early mornings, in the resilience of late nights, in the strength to keep going when no one's watching. The world rewards talent, but character is what sustains success, and character is built, not gifted. Don't wait for one defining moment. Build 1,000 tiny ones. That's where the power is. Life doesn't hand you transformation in a single dramatic act. It offers you moments, tiny, forgettable moments that accumulate. And those moments, if treated with care, build a life of excellence. If you want to change your life, don't look for a miracle. Look for the next small decision. And make it count. Because when you look back years from now, you won't remember every choice, but you'll be living in the world those choices created. 3. The power of humility. Here's the paradox. The more you think you know, the less you grow. Certainty is often a mask for fear, fear of being wrong, of looking foolish, of losing control. But growth requires surrender. It demands that you drop the illusion of mastery and embrace the mindset of a student. Life is constantly evolving, and the moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. Real wisdom doesn't come from being right. It comes from being open, from saying, I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. That openness is humility, and it's not a weakness, it's the beginning of transformation. Humility isn't weakness, it's a superpower. Epictetus, born a slave, rose to become one of the most respected Stoic teachers. Why? Because he never stopped learning. He didn't pretend to have it all figured out. He studied life with curiosity and grace. His humility allowed him to rise above his circumstances, to teach emperors and scholars not through arrogance, but through grounded wisdom. His story is proof that humility isn't tied to status or background. It's a mindset, a willingness to observe, question, and grow without ego getting in the way. Pride blocks progress. The ego resists growth. If you can't admit you're wrong, you've already lost. Pride whispers, you're already enough. You don't need to change. But the truth is, no one is beyond growth. And if you believe you are, you've built a prison around your potential. Humility, on the other hand, says, there's more to learn, more to understand, more to become. And in that mindset, you become adaptable, resilient, and wise. The Stoics believed the greatest obstacle to wisdom was thinking you already had it. Drop the pride, and you'll find the path again. True wisdom begins with this realization: you are a work in progress. And the moment you let that truth in, you unlock the freedom to evolve. Too many people tie their identity to being right, to maintaining an image, to clinging to certainty. But life rewards those who are fluid, who can pivot, who can admit, I was wrong and now I will do better. That kind of humility isn't passive, it's bold. It's powerful. It shows strength not in domination, but in the courage to keep growing. Humility allows you to face your flaws, to take feedback without defensiveness, and to ask, not how can I win, but how can I become better? That shift in perspective is the essence of self-mastery. It's not about comparison or competition. It's about alignment with your values, about being someone you respect even in your weakest moments. When someone corrects you, do you resist or do you listen? When you fail, do you blame or do you learn? Humility answers these questions with calm, deliberate grace. Don't chase status, chase self-mastery, because in the end, no one is impressed by your image. They're moved by your integrity. Titles fade, accolades are forgotten, but the way you carry yourself, the quiet humility, the relentless pursuit of better, that's what lasts. That's what defines a meaningful life. If you want to lead, influence, or grow, start by letting go of the need to be seen as great. Instead, be willing to become great, and that journey always begins with humility. 4. Discipline over emotion. Emotions aren't your enemy, but they're not your guide either. They arise unbidden like weather in the mind, storm clouds of rage, gusts of fear, sunshine of joy. They are part of being human, and the Stoics never denied this. But what they made clear is that emotions should not be captains steering the ship. Instead, we are meant to feel them without being ruled by them. Emotions can enhance life, but they can also derail judgment. To live a wise and steady life, we must anchor ourselves in reason and discipline rather than drift with every emotional tide that passes through us. Anger, fear, envy, they're signals, not commands. They demand attention, but they don't deserve obedience. Just because you feel anger doesn't mean you must lash out. Just because fear arises doesn't mean you should retreat. And envy, while painful, doesn't entitle you to bitterness or resentment. Each of these emotions is a flare, a warning, sign, a messenger. Anger might point to an injustice. Fear might indicate risk. Envy might show you what you desire or where you feel inadequate. But they are only starting points, not the destination. Emotional awareness gives you data. Wisdom decides what you do with it. The Stoics taught that emotion should be acknowledged, not indulged. Through discipline, we can observe without reacting, act rather than be acted upon. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all emphasize this central truth. Emotions are natural, but indulgence is a choice. To indulge an emotion is to let it lead the way, to give it power over your actions. A disciplined mind sees anger rise and says, "I see you, but I will not let you drive." That is not repression. It is mastery. It is knowing that what you feel is not who you are. You are the observer, the strategist, the commander, not the slave. When you practice restraint, you're not suppressing emotion, you're transforming it. Anger becomes clarity. Fear becomes courage. Anxiety becomes focus. This is where true strength lies, in taking the energy of strong emotion and redirecting it. Instead of screaming when frustrated, you breathe. You step back. You speak with precision. This is how anger becomes clarity, because you understand the root of it rather than being swept away. Fear becomes courage when you walk into it anyway. Anxiety becomes focus when you place your attention on the task at hand. It's alchemy, turning chaos into power, reaction into response. You don't need to feel motivated to act. You need to act despite how you feel. This is one of the most misunderstood truths of self-discipline. Too many people wait for inspiration, for emotional momentum. But the Stoic way is different. It's about action rooted in values, not vibes. You wake up tired, but you still train. You feel discouraged, but you still write the next page. You're afraid, but you still step into the unknown. This is what builds character. Not a life of ease, but a life of consistency in the face of discomfort. This is the ultimate power, to remain steady while others unravel, to move forward when the path feels uncertain, to hold your values when they're most inconvenient. Discipline doesn't mean you're cold or indifferent. It means you have a deeper warmth, one that's reliable and grounded. While others are ruled by whim, you are ruled by principle. While others lash out, you remain composed. While others lose themselves in fear or ego, you keep your center. This steadiness is what gives you an advantage, not over others, but over chaos itself. Discipline is the doorway to peace, and peace is earned, not inherited. Anyone can hope for peace. Anyone can chase calm moments. But lasting peace, the kind that sits quietly within you, unbothered by the noise outside, comes from rigorous training of the mind. It comes from choosing what is right over what is easy day after day. It comes from building habits of thought, of restraint, of deliberate action. This is not a gift granted by the universe. It is the result of 1,000 small decisions to take control of your life, your reactions, yourself. And when you do, peace is no longer a place you visit. It becomes who you are. 5. Live like time is running out. Here's the harsh reality. You don't have time. None of us do. And yet we act like we're immortal. We plan, delay, promise ourselves we'll get to it eventually. But eventually is a dangerous myth. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. Death, they said, isn't a distant fate. It's a constant companion. Not to frighten us, but to awaken us. Every day lost to hesitation is a day you never get back. And when you finally realize how finite your time is, you begin to live with urgency, with clarity, with a fire that burns through procrastination. Seneca wrote, It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And isn't that the truth? We binge distractions, chase approval, and drown our potential in trivial comforts. But the hours we spend scrolling or worrying don't come back. Time isn't stored, it's spent. And once it's spent, it's gone forever. The Stoics weren't morbid, they were focused. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius all warned that time is the most valuable thing we possess, and yet we treat it like it's disposable. If we truly understood its value, we would guard it more fiercely than gold. We scroll, we distract, we wait for the right moment. But life is happening now. The perfect moment is an illusion. Conditions will never be ideal. You'll never feel completely ready, and yet that's not a reason to wait. That's a reason to begin. Because life doesn't pause for your readiness. It keeps moving. It demands participation, not perfection. Every second you delay is a second of your one and only life ticking away. Instead of waiting for clarity, take action. Instead of postponing dreams, pursue them. This is how you reclaim your time, by using it intentionally. Stoicism teaches urgency, not in panic, but in purpose. When you understand the clock is ticking, every moment becomes sacred. Every action gains weight. This isn't about rushing. It's about recognizing the preciousness of each hour. The Stoics lived with memento mori, remember you must die, not as a source of dread, but as a call to truly live. When you see life's brevity, you stop wasting it. You start asking better questions. Is this worthy of my time? Will this matter on my deathbed? Is this aligned with my values, and if not, why am I doing it? You want to write that book? Start the business? Heal that relationship? Then do it now, not tomorrow. Not someday, now. The longer you wait, the heavier regret grows. Action creates momentum. Even if you stumble, you're learning. Even if you fail, you're alive. But postponement is the slow death of your dreams. The Stoics believed that the best time to begin is always now, because now is all you ever truly have. The future is uncertain. The past is gone. All that exists is this breath, this heartbeat, this moment, and what you choose to do with it. Don't die with your potential still inside you. Live so fully that when your time comes, you leave nothing on the table. That's the Stoic ideal, not merely to exist, but to live deliberately. Let your life be a statement of courage, of love, of action. Don't hoard your gifts. Don't bury your voice. You were given a body, a mind, a spark. Use them, stretch them, pour them into what matters. Because the tragedy isn't that life ends. The tragedy is that so many never truly begin. Live with virtue. Live with fire. Live with intention. Virtue, because your character is your legacy. Fire, because passion fuels a life well lived. Intention, because drifting is death in slow motion. These are the principles of a Stoic life, not cold or joyless, but radiant, with meaning. The Stoic doesn't hide from death. They use it as motivation. They don't cling to comfort. They seek purpose. And in doing so, they live more in a single day than many do in a decade. Let that be your goal, not to extend life, but to deepen it, not to count the years, but to make the years count. Be the example. You don't need to lecture anyone, just live well. The world is filled with noise, opinions, distractions. What it needs more of are examples. You want to inspire others. Show them what discipline looks like. Show them what resilience feels like. Be so rooted in your principles that your presence alone elevates others. Don't just talk about character, be character. This is the Stoic path, not one of comfort, but of meaning, not one of ease, but of depth. So if you're ready to step up, not just for today, but for life, walk the path, own your choices, embrace your virtue, Subscribe if you haven't already. This is where warriors of the mind sharpen their edge. This is where we rise. Until next time, hold the line, live the truth, and keep walking forward.